Great. So now we'll get into miscellaneous topics. So the first topic is sending ad data to Mixpanel. So Mixpanel allows you to integrate your ad data so you can manage both product and marketing analytics within the same platform. And this helps you analyze campaign performance, build metrics like ROI, ROAS directly in Mixpanel, right? So if you look at the screenshot, this is how your Mixpanel ad event would ideally look like, wherein your event name could be ad data, and you'd have properties which would tell you, let's say, source, campaign ID, cost, clicks, impressions, UTM source, UTM medium, so on and so forth. I'll talk about what exactly cost, clicks, and impressions is and how you need to send it. But the most important thing that you need to remember here is that the UTM source, UTM medium, UTM campaign should exactly be spelled how they are, so that, for example, when you're trying to break down by, let's say, UTM source, and let's say you're trying to break down ad data and also something like, let's say, purchase completed, and you want to understand how much of it is from Google. So the UTM source property should be present in both, and so in Mixpanel by default UTM source is named how it is, and so you need to ensure that when you send it with event data, it's also named this way. Okay. Now, so that's the first thing, right? So if you need to have matching client-side properties. So if you're using Mixpanel's client-side SDK to track user behavior, you need to model your campaign metadata, which is source, medium, campaign, as UTM source and medium. No distinct ID. So usually what you would see is when you send data to Mixpanel, it is based on individual users, but ad performance data isn't tied to individual users, so you actually don't need any distinct ID, right? And so by omitting it, what you're doing is these events will not affect reports focused on user behavior, such as funnels, retention, flows, so on and so forth. So the idea is that, from your ad data provider, you model the data and you send it to Mixpanel probably once a day. So once a day you have this event called ad data, which would have total cost for that day, clicks for that day, and impressions for that day, or whatever you want to have, right? So that's the third point, so which is aggregated event properties. So they're typically triggered once a day, and the event properties are aggregated. And this is also because ad networks only export data at aggregate levels and at fixed intervals. Okay, the last one is insert ID. So it is recommended to include an insert ID to avoid data duplication. So this allows you to send the same campaign data multiple times for a specific segment without duplicating it in reports. I've also linked the exact Mixpanel guide to be able to implement this. You could probably go through it here.